So I did something that I don't normally do, and I want to talk about it with you guys. I want to create a video and discuss it, have you leave me some comments, let me know how you feel about it, what you would have done, and if you were in my position, would you have gone against what you normally do? Let's just dive right into this. Hello, for those that are new to this channel, my name is Mel. I'm a medium, an energy healer, and a spiritual coach. I love to help you achieve your dreams of mediumship and many, many more. If you're interested in that, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave me a comment. Even if you leave a little emoji, as every piece of engagement you give really helps me and my channel, and I appreciate it so much. So I am a firm believer in not doing drive-by readings. What is a drive-by mediumship reading? This is when you are out and about, you are somewhere, someplace, and a spirit is asking you to give a reading to a random person that does not have a reading scheduled with you. So it's basically you're out in public, spirit wants you to talk to someone, and you basically go up to somebody and say, "Excuse me." That's what a drive-by reading is. And I am against those. I do not like doing drive-by readings. And there's several reasons for that. For one, you don't know if the person is open and receptive to mediumship. There's a lot of growth in that field. There is a lot of growth in the world where people are awakening and they're knowing and seeing and feeling that there's more to life. There's more than this body, that our souls go on. And so, yes, there is a lot of potential in that area. There's a lot of people that believe in mediumship, but there's still people that don't. And so going up to somebody randomly and saying, "Excuse me," you don't know what their beliefs are. You don't know what they would like or wouldn't like in their life to happen. And so I really don't like walking up to people for that reason alone. Secondly, you don't know what stage of grief they are in. Okay, if somebody had walked up to me to talk to me about my father after he was killed, I'm not sure that I would have been in the right state of mind to accept what was being said, to really grasp it and allow it to absorb into my body and to really understand it. I was so deep in my grief after my father was killed that it probably took me 2 years to get out of it. And so there's another reason you don't know what stage of grief they are in. And the third reason I don't like to do drive-by readings is because you don't know if this person that you're going to tap on the shoulder wants to hear from the person in spirit. Let's say they didn't get along in life. Let's say there was a bad breakup. Let's say there was bad blood between the two of them. And this person that you're about to tap on the shoulder, you're about to ruin their entire day by giving messages from a spirit they don't even want any contact with. And now you're saying, "Hey, this spirit is with you." So those are the three main reasons I don't like to give drive-by mediumship readings. I only like to work with a client who has confirmed through a booking that they want a reading, they believe in mediumship, they want to connect to people that are on the other side, and they want to sit down with me and have those conversations. And drive-by readings are not my thing. I don't like to do them. However, I did break that rule, and I'm going to go into that. So whenever I go out, and my mom knows this very well, I immediately get hit by spirit when I walk into a store. I immediately have my head hurt. Sometimes it feels like a bowling ball just bumped me right in the side of the head. Sometimes I get dizzy. Sometimes I get nauseous. And this happens every single time. Sometimes it's one of those. Sometimes it's all of those. And no matter how many boundaries I set, I will say I'm not giving readings when I go into this store, no contact. But if you know anything about human design, I have open areas in my body that through my human design, through my spiritual blueprint, if you will, these areas are open. And I have come to learn that you can set boundaries, 100% you can set boundaries. But depending on certain aspects of your spiritual blueprint, spiritual aspects of what you came in here as a soul to achieve and do, those boundaries are going to take you as far as they can. So I always set the boundary, no communication. I will not talk. I will not do a drive-by reading. And then when I go into a store, I feel these experiences. Now, I don't have spirit saying, oh, over there, over there. I just have a sensation of maybe spirit trying to communicate with me and my blocks are going up. That's how I interpret it. When I feel that headache, it's like spirit is trying to connect to me. They connect through our chakras. They connect through our senses, which are, a lot of them are in your head. You're hearing, seeing, tasting, smelling. It's all right here. So I feel like that pain here, but I don't feel spirit saying, hey, you. I just feel like something is coming up against my shield, if you will. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going into Office Max with my mom. We've got to get some really important paperwork done. And we had to make an appointment with this person. Now, we have never been in this store. I've never been there. I actually didn't even realize Office Depot, Office Max, same thing. I didn't even realize they were still in business, to be honest with you. I didn't even know we had an Office Depot still here where I live. I'm like, what? I didn't even know that was there. So this was all just so random. And so we get there early. My mom and I, we are early people. If you tell me to be there at 11, I'm there at 10:30. So we were there early, just kind of walking the aisles. And the minute we walked into the store, boom, this pain just hit me on the side of the head. And I knew spirit was trying to connect with me, but they were being met with my boundaries. I'm not going to give readings. I'm not going to connect in public. And so my mom was doing her turn first, and I was going to be second. So I'm sitting back, and this spirit, he was able to get through. And that's not a bad thing. I don't want you to be afraid if you're watching this video and you're trying to learn mediumship. It's not a bad thing that he got through my boundaries. All you have to do is say, you know what? No, go. But I want to explain what happened for me personally. And again, I want you to leave me comments. What would you have done? What would you have said? What would you have wanted to experience or do differently than me? Put it in the comments. So I immediately feel him coming into my field and connecting with me, and I can feel him telling me things. And for me, I feel things a lot. So I knew that he died of something with his intestines, but also a very difficult time breathing. And then I kept saying, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to give this reading. And he was very, very persistent. I will say that I have experienced some spirits that are a lot stronger than others. Like if you say no, they don't have the strength to push through. And there's somewhere, like this gentleman here, he was like, you're here. I have been trying to talk to him for so long. You have to help me. It kind of felt like that feeling. So then my mom finishes up and it's my turn. And I stand up, and as soon as I get next to this gentleman that is helping us, who, this guy was so cool. I mean, he had like the 80s, feathered, puffy, long hair. He freaking rocked, dude. He was cool. And as soon as I stood next to him, I saw a gentleman pop right. I saw him standing right there. And I heard the word uncle screaming in my ear, uncle. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I'm like having a hard time. My mom can tell something's going on, and I kind of look at her and I'm like, someone's talking to me, right? And my mom, she's so encouraging of me. She wants me to express these things, and she wants me to talk to people. Half the time when I tell her, oh God, somebody's talking to me, my mom's like, let's go find who they're for. And it's so wonderful to have that kind of support and to have somebody just so excited for you and wanting to support you and help you. So my mom is like, go ahead. So I'm at the counter. He's helping me with my paperwork, and all of a sudden these words come out of my mouth, and it's like I could control them, but I couldn't, because I never do drive-by readings, never. And I swear to you, the words just started coming out before I realized, almost like his uncle was like, right? And I was like, do you believe in the afterlife? Do you believe that there's more after we pass away? And he said, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I don't really think so. And I said, okay, thank you. And he goes, well, why? And I said, well, I'm a medium. And my mom pipes up. She goes, my daughter can talk to spirits on the other side. My daughter's really amazing at this. And I'm like, oh God. Okay. I was trying to ease into this. And I was trying to let this gentleman tell me if yes or no. And so he goes, oh, really? Oh, okay. And I said, I'm not going to take it any further. If you're uncomfortable, it's okay. I felt very compelled to ask you this. But again, it was almost like the words just came out of my mouth. And so he's like, okay, well, tell me about it. What's happening? And so I thought, okay, he's receptive to it. That's my first rule. Remember, I said that's the first reason why I don't like to do readings is you don't know if they believe or if they're receptive. People don't believe in it at all. Some people believe in this little bit of it. Some people believe in all of it. You don't know. And he started talking to me and asking me, okay, well, what's going on? And so I described again his uncle, and the word uncle was yelled in my ear, uncle. But because I don't do drive-by readings, I got so nervous, and I'm like, well, I'm feeling an uncle or a father or grandfather. Your ego wants to kick in and tell you, oh, you're not right. You got to take this further, even though the word uncle was being yelled in my ear. And if I was in a reading, I would have said, your uncle is here. But I was so taken off guard. So then his uncle is here, and he says, well, can you describe him? And yes, I described everything about him. I described how he passed away, how close they were. And his uncle had said to me that he wished that he could have done more in his life, like his nephew, which is the gentleman I was talking to, which he didn't understand that because he said they were very close together. They did a lot of things together. But what I usually do is I just say whatever I get when I'm in a reading, and that person usually ends up understanding what those things mean later. I've actually had somebody come back to me 6 months later and say, everything you said was correct. I understand it now. Or whatever I had said finally passed, finally happened, and they understood. But everything I said, except that one little piece, made complete and total sense to him. The way that this gentleman's attitude changed, characteristics changed, he was so happy and so grateful. He was like euphoric almost, where he couldn't even form the words. He's like, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe this. He was my favorite uncle. We did everything together. I was closer to him than my family, my other family. And it made me so glad that I did this. It made me so glad that I could give him this peace of mind. It made me feel like I made a connection with this gentleman to give him healing, to give him something he needed in this moment. And I firmly and truly believe that we as humans, we as healers, we as people, are placed in situations that we need to be in. I was supposed to be there that day. And again, this was an appointment I didn't even know Office Depot still friggin' existed, that I was led to go to, that I was led to be there at that exact time, at that exact moment. I was very glad that I did the reading. I was very glad that I was able to help him in a way understand that his uncle is still right here. His uncle is still his best friend. His uncle is still a very much part of his life, seeing what he's doing, watching what he's doing, taking part in what he's doing. And so for that, I'm thankful that I did the reading. However, there are times where you don't know what's going to happen. What do you think? Would you have done the reading? Would you have gone through with it? Would you have said anything? Fear aside, okay, if you're learning or starting mediumship, fear aside, would you have gone forward with a drive-by reading? Somebody that did not schedule a reading and you're just out in public and Spirit's like, hey, over there. Would you have done it? I want to know in the comments. I'm glad that I did this specific reading. It worked out very beautifully, and I knew I was placed to be there to give this reading to him. I think that's why he was allowed past my boundary. I believe that's why his uncle in spirit was allowed to get past that protective boundary, because again, I never do these. I have boundaries up constantly when I'm in public because I can feel it. I think that my guides allowed him through because I was supposed to be there in that moment at that time to give healing, to give validation, to let this gentleman know that his uncle, his best friend is still there with him. So I'm glad I did it. I don't know that I would do it again unless that same situation occurred where a spirit was able to get through my boundary, which is very very difficult to do, because I've been doing this work for 5+ years and my boundaries are tight. Okay, they are tight. You're not getting through these. So that's another thing I realized, like my guide had to have let him through, because otherwise you're not getting through here. Let me know in the comments what you think about drive-by readings. Would you do it? Would you not do it? What do you think about the situation I was in? Do you agree or disagree with what happened? I really want to know. Put it down in the comments and make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more amazing content like this. I share everything that happens in my mediumship journey because I have learned from scratch, from zero. I did not have any spiritual abilities as a child. I actually didn't step into the world of mediumship until I was 38 years old, and it happened to me by chance. And so I started to learn how to do mediumship on my own, developing on my own, taking mediumship development courses, reading books. If you're interested in doing that, if you've never had a spiritual, psychic, mediumistic encounter, experience in your life, you can still do this. I taught myself, I can teach you. I have courses that will help you connect to the spirit world, that will help you connect to your friends and family that have passed away. If you're interested, everything for that is down in the description below. I'd be so honored to be your teacher, to be your mentor, because I'm in the same position you are. I never had an experience and I wanted to learn. I wanted to grow this ability, and I was able to do that from zero to medium. I'll see you in the next video, my lovely friend. Bye.